Look closely. The beautiful may be small. We are not rich by what we possess but by what we can do without. He who is cruel to animals becomes hard also in his dealings with men. We can judge the heart of a man by his treatment of animals. Act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of any other, never merely as a means to an end, but always at the same time as an end. Enlightenment is man's release from his self-incurred tutelage. Tutelage is man's inability to make use of his understanding without direction from another. Self-incurred is this tutelage when its cause lies not in lack of reason but in lack of resolution and courage to use it without direction from another. Sapir Ode. Have courage to use your own reason. That is the motto of enlightenment. I had to deny knowledge in order to make room for faith. One who makes himself a worm cannot complain afterwards if people step on him. Two things fill the mind with ever-increasing wonder and awe, the more often and the more intensely the mind of thought is drawn to them, the starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. Dare to think. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. There is nothing higher than reason. Two things fill the mind with ever new and increasing admiration and awe, the more often and steadily we reflect upon them, the starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. I do not seek or conjecture either of them as if they were veiled obscurities or extravagances beyond the horizon of my vision. I see them before me and connect them immediately with the consciousness of my existence. Rules for happiness, something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. Whereas the beautiful is limited, the sublime is limitless, so that the mind in the presence of the sublime, attempting to imagine what it cannot, has pain in the failure but pleasure in contemplating the immensity of the attempt. For peace to reign on earth, humans must evolve into new beings who have learned to see the whole first. Seek not the favor of the multitude, it is seldom got by honest and lawful means. But seek the testimony of few, and number not voices, but weigh them. Genius is the ability to independently arrive at and understand concepts that would normally have to be taught by another person. The busier we are, the more acutely we feel that we live, the more conscious we are of life. The death of dogma is the birth of morality. But only he who, himself enlightened, is not afraid of shadows. Space and time are the framework within which the mind is constrained to construct its experience of reality. Thoughts without content are empty, intuitions without concepts are blind. Have patience a while, slanders are not long-lived. Truth is the child of time, ere long she shall appear to vindicate thee. Dare to know. Have the courage to use your own intelligence. The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the finest minds of past centuries. We are enriched not by what we possess, but by what we can do without. If the truth shall kill them, let them die. Man must be disciplined, for he is by nature raw and wild. Treat people as an end, and never as a means to an end. Have the courage to use your own reason, that is the motto of enlightenment. Foundations of the metaphysics of morals. Act only according to that maxim whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. Skepticism is thus a resting place for human reason, where it can reflect upon its dogmatic wanderings and make survey of the region in which it finds itself, so that for the future it may be able to choose its path with more certainty. But it is no dwelling place for permanent settlement. Such can be obtained only through perfect certainty in our knowledge, alike of the objects themselves and of the limits within which all our knowledge of objects is enclosed. The light dove, in free flight cutting through the air the resistance of which it feels, could get the idea that it could do even better in airless space. Likewise, Plato abandoned the world of the senses because it posed so many hindrances for the understanding, and dared to go beyond it on the wings of the ideas, in the empty space of pure understanding. How then is perfection to be sought? Wherein lies our hope? In education, and in nothing else. There is something splendid about innocence, but what is bad about it, in turn, is that it cannot protect itself very well and is easily seduced. Law and freedom without violence, anarchy; law and violence without freedom, despotism; violence without freedom and law, barbarism; violence with freedom and law, republic. In all judgments by which we describe anything as beautiful, we allow no one to be of another opinion. Enlightenment is man's emergence from his self-incurred immaturity. Have the courage to use your own reason, that is the motto of enlightenment. As nature has uncovered from under this hard shell the seed for which she most tenderly cares, the propensity and vocation to free thinking, this gradually works back upon the character of the people, who thereby gradually become capable of managing freedom. Finally, it affects the principles of government, which finds it to its advantage to treat men, who are now more than machines, in accordance with their dignity. Morality is not properly the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. Only the descent into the hell of self-knowledge can pave the way to godliness. The people naturally adhere most to doctrines which demand the least self-exertion and the least use of their own reason, and which can best accommodate their duties to their inclinations. Marriage is the union of two people of different sexes with a view to the mutual possession of each other's sexual attributes for the duration of their lives. An action, to have moral worth, must be done from duty. Experience without theory is blind, but theory without experience is mere intellectual play. Two things fill my mind with ever-increasing wonder and awe, the more often and the more intensely the reflection dwells on them: the starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. But although all our knowledge begins with experience, it does not follow that it arises from experience. All false art, all vain wisdom, lasts its time but finally destroys itself, and its highest culture is also the epoch of its decay. Nature is beautiful because it looks like art, and art can only be called beautiful if we are conscious of it as art while yet it looks like nature.